I am here with Michael, the Machine Isaac.
Bro, I don't even know what's what's up? What's up, bro?
So good to have you here, bro. Just before we get started, for the people who might not know much about you,
Yep.
you've got a lot of titles behind you. KBF lightweight champion.
Yep.
WKA NZ super lightweight title. IKBF South Pacific super lightweight title. King of the Ring welterweight championship, which I was there for. That was sick.
Man.
And recently, the Knees of Fury winner, I'm going to butcher this, and claimed the Kumar world title.
Kunkumur.
Kunkumur. I was almost there.
Yeah.
And wow, insane, bro. You've done a lot of stuff. And I remember when I saw you, it was at King of the Ring welterweight. And it was on my birthday, so that was a fun birthday, checking you out.
Yeah.
And I just was like, when I was watching you, what really stood out to me compared to other fighters there was just your ability to just keep pushing and pressure.
Yeah.
Because I remember one guy you fought, I'm struggling with all the names, because I think you fought three guys in that.
Three guys
one night, which is...
It's crazy.
You're fucking insane.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's a crazy competition. But I remember at one point with this guy, quite a tall guy, probably a bit tall, maybe my height, a little bit taller.
Yeah.
The second guy you fought, and he was just on the outside, and you were just smashing him with leg kicks.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And I've noticed, like, you do that. That seems to be quite a big strength for you with your leg kicks. Have you spent quite a lot of time perfecting? Obviously, you perfect everything, but you spend a lot of time working on that, like a strategy to weaken your opponents with that kind of thing?
Yes and no, bro. Like, I mean, pretty much everyone I suppose, like, bro, I'm 5'7", so I'm pretty short. Like, 5'8" on a good day.
Some might say a short king.
Yeah, short king, bro. Yeah. But so everyone I suppose is taller than me, bro. So I'm pretty efficient with leg kicks, I think. But only on some people, bro. Like the higher level I got, the less I could land leg kicks. When I was an amateur, I could kind of land them all day. But just for that specific guy, it worked perfectly. But I could tell, like, because we were in the same changing room prior to that fight, and he so I'd finished my first fight, and he'd come back to the changing room to grab his stuff. And in King of the Ring, if you're fighting each other and you're in the same changing room, you have to change changing rooms. So he grabbed all the stuff, went to the next room, but I could see he was icing. He had a couple bruises on his legs. So my coach said, "Oh, you should aim for his legs." First round, bro, I didn't aim for his leg, and then I got growling after the first round, and then I started aiming for his legs, and then evidently got the TKO and the
blew his leg up like a balloon.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
I saw that from the side of the stage, and I'm just like, fuck. Yeah. That's crazy. And then in your last fight, and this really stood out to me as a testament of probably not just you as a fighter, but your character, is taking that knee. I know you've spoken about this before, but taking that knee to the head. I was like, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And you got up and then you got it. And I was like,
bro, so a lot of people actually thought it was to the head, but bro, it was actually a body shot.
Oh, it was a body shot.
Body shot, bro.
My bad.
I forget which angle you watch it on, but you could see his knee clearly lands on my liver, on the right side of my body, and he hits me, and I remember just thinking, oh yeah, that's all right, and then I could feel my body crumbling down. I could feel like the life. I don't know if you've been hit with a liver shot, but
I have.
Yeah, to most fighters out there, it's horrible. Like
mine was just sparring too.
Yeah.
But it wasn't even full fucking.
Bro, like it takes down like the toughest man in the world, like, because your whole body shuts down. So I was like, you could see me trying to fight it, and you could see, I think it's on the TVNZ version of the fight. You can see the neck and the vein in the side of my neck popping out because I'm tensing real hard, like, oh god. And then I just dropped, and he threw a knee, and it didn't really land, like, threw a knee as I was dropping, it landed on my glove, but it was the body shot, and I remember just thinking, oh, God, and I was, like, looking up at the ref, and I looked at thankfully I landed next to my corner, which was quite ironic. I look over at my corner, and they're just telling me to breathe through it, and, bro, I'd heard, I think it was one of my coaches, or somebody said, like, an experienced fighter, or, like, a world-level fighter, if they get dropped, they take the full 8 count. And I see it a lot with, like, a lot of amateurs, bro. They get, like, dropped or something like that. They get a body shot or, like, dropped to the head or something like that. They try to get up straight away, bro. And they don't take the full 8 count. So I remember, like, sitting there looking at the ref, and I was like, I'm going to take the full 8 count and get up on 9 or 8 or whatever it is. And I got up, and I was sweet. And it took me kind of, like, the rest of the round, maybe, like, a minute to recover. And then towards the end of the round, I'd really rallied back as much as I could. But yeah, like I say, he'd won that round 10-8. easily. But yeah, I wasn't overzealous on trying to win the he knocked me down, I got to do it, I got to get him back or something like that. I just thought I got to win the rounds. And yeah, worked in my favour in the end, I guess.
Yeah, man, that was like crazy. Well, even to the body, still insane. So well done for pushing through that. And I think you raise a good point about waiting for the 8 count.
Yeah.
Like you said, people kind of want to get up straight away, but I'd imagine, I've never had a fight, but I'd imagine if you get knocked down like that, you actually should take the time.
Take the full time, bro.
To like try your best to
regather your thoughts.
Recover, realize what happened, and sort of, I guess, then do the best you can to get back out there. I mean, that's what I imagine it's like.
Yeah, bro. That's 100%. You got to keep your emotions. Like, I remember, straight away he got me, and my opponent, Daniel, I know Daniel quite well. And I was
you trained with him. You've trained with him previously, haven't you?
No, we haven't trained.
Okay.
We fought before.
Right.
And
I saw something on Instagram. So maybe you guys before, maybe you might have had like a meeting at the gym or something.
No. So we after King of the Ring, we ran into each other at a promotion called Lights Out.
Oh, right. Last minute.
Yeah, I actually sat with him and watched the whole show with him. So he's a good dude actually. So I know Daniel quite well. So when he dropped me, I was kind of just like, oh, good shot, bro. But in my head, I was just like, damn, I got to try to get him back. And that's why I was trying to calm my emotions down because bro, what am I going to do? Get up on the count of 3 and still be recovering? And it's like, bro, that's kind of just retarded. So yeah.
How long did it take you? It seems like you're pretty emotionally, like you're very in touch with yourself in that way. Would you say?
I hope so, bro.
But how long did it take you? Because the way that you talk about these things is so like calm and like, well, I take time to recover and I get back in. How long did it take you a while to kind of get across that, like emotionally, like say like you're in a fight or even maybe it was in sparring or whatever it is, and you get hit and you're like, fucking what? And then
to get to that point,
get to a point where you're like, right, like let me calm down and have a rethink. And
bro, I think it's bro, I've been surrounded by, like when I first moved to Hamilton, I joined a gym called the House of Pain, run by Ethan Shep, and bro, this gym was full of like killers. Like when I turned up, it's still full of killers, but when I turned up, it was at Ethan's house. And bro, there was guys like Alexi Serapisos. He's won King of the Ring twice. He's a 2-time world champion. Carlos Hicks, world champion. King of the Ring champion. Quay Taranaki, world champion. Edwin Sami, he was there for a while. He's he's a killer. Like Edwin's from like old school kickboxing days. He's from ETK originally.
Oh wow, yeah.
Bro, he was like the man. He's had like 90 fights, I think. But
90,
bro. Yeah, so I was surrounded by like these like killers,
highly experienced veterans.
Highly experienced, bro. So like it was like a genuine privilege to be around those guys all the time and to like I was real shy back then. I'm still shy, bro. Like I'm a shy person, but they would just sort of give me knowledge. And like I wish I could go back in time and write all the stuff down that they would tell me after training and like during training. But yeah, bro. Like I think it's just being around those guys and obviously having a great coach. Like Ethan's a great coach, and he still gives me advice to this day. Like, bro, I'm not just because I got a world title, King of the Ring. I'm not treated any more special than a guy with 2 fights. Like I'm still just a regular guy in the gym. Like I like it that way because it's like, bro, I'm not on a pedestal in the slightest. Like I still spar guys with a couple fights, 1 fight. Like today, bro, I sparred a guy with no fights. So it's all good.
Yeah. No, that would be, I can imagine being around having people around you who are so mature and experienced in the sport and just with what you're trying to do, because you're trying to go after something similar. So they know the journey you're on. And I think what's interesting in New Zealand, and I think with combat sports now, because it's becoming so much bigger, it's become so much bigger now, UFC and all that stuff too. But I think, like, from what I can see with some people is, like, you get some people coming in, it's like, where I, CKB and a few other places who just come in and it's like, it's not really there for genuine reasons. Yeah. And it doesn't take long to figure out if, they're there to, I don't know, it's like a show pony thing almost. Bro. It's weird. It's very strange. Have you had those experiences with people?
As in...
Like people come in with an expectation of like, yeah, man, like I can fight out here. Let me try it in the gym.
Bro, I was kind of that guy when I started. Bro.
Oh, really?
Not really, bro. Like I was a kid. And I think like kids kind of have it a lot, bro. Like when I started, like, bro, before my first fight, I thought I was I thought I was going to knock my first opponent out. I thought I was the man just because I was training. And I trained like twice a week. And I soon realized that I sucked at fighting. I really sucked, bro. And like, I think it's just like, I don't know, people like see like fighting on TV and just think like, oh, it's easy.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's easy, but they don't respect.
They make it look easy.
Yeah, they make it look easy. They don't respect it as a sport. It's like, bro, it's like watching golf. I was watching like for my day job, we were working at a golf course. I was watching these guys play golf, and I was sitting there like, bro, it looks so easy, but it's not. Like it's quite mentally hard. Like playing golf, like these dudes like spend hours hitting balls, and you know there's the right tempo you got to hit it and the right sort of angle. And it's like, bro, it's the same with fighting. Like fighting's a way more complicated sport than people think. But
yeah. What would you say out of all the things you've learned throughout your fighting career has been like, what's been a technique or something that you've found to be quite hard to get good at?
And this episode is sponsored by me. Do you struggle with sleeping, and particularly struggle with light and sound while sleeping? I think it's time you get the sleep that you deserve. My business, Infinity Sleep, specializes in sleep well-being products to enhance your sleep quality. I've been using sleep masks and earplugs for the past 3 years to help improve my sleep, and I'm so stoked to finally have ones that have been created for my own sleeping needs. If you would like to learn more about my business, Infinity Sleep, please visit our website, www.infinitysleep.co.nz. By making a purchase, you are directly not only supporting a local Kiwi business, but also this podcast. Use the promo code ONLYSCOTT15% and receive 15% off your first order. Go to www.infinitysleep.co.nz to get the sleep that you deserve.
a technique, like as in...
Could be a move, or maybe it's like the clinch, or maybe it's like moving around the ring, like, or countering shots or something like that.
Bro, it's probably... It's probably just biting down and having a go, really.
Oh, yeah?
Like, yeah, that's... For some people, like, everyone's different, bro. Like, I had to do it in the King of the Ring final, like, bro, I just had to bite down and just have a crack. But it's quite... Yeah, I'd say that's probably one of the hardest things that I had to get to. Yeah. But,
I guess is it talking about, so if you get hit a bit, pressured, you're feeling like an injury's coming on.
Yeah.
Maybe, and you have to, like, find a way to be like, swallow that. And I
bit.
have to finish it. That is fucking hard.
When the chips are against you, you know, like, you know, say dropped in the first round or whatever, like, yeah, just having a go, really, and not really. I feel like at that point you can't really be dependent on the result anymore. Like now it's just having a red hot go.
That's interesting, isn't it? Because it's like, doesn't matter how good your skills are. Now it's not even about the skills anymore.
Yeah. Now it's about what's
in
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so true. Yeah, just to like take a beating, or to take that sort of pressure. Maybe you're losing a round, maybe you're losing all the rounds up to this point, and then to be like, I can still do it.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing for any fighter, bro, is, you know, you can be skillful, you can have all the technique, you can be fit, bro, you can be, you know, I've seen plenty of athletes, bro, but I think all in all, it's heart, bro. That's the number one weapon for any fighter on earth. Is if you don't have heart, then you can't be a fighter. But if you have heart, bro, you can learn the skills, you can get fit, you can do anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard I think it was like Habib talk about like something like this, like there's like athletes and then like warriors.
Yeah.
And I guess another category I'd put is like the psychos.
yeah, bro.
And there's probably like, I don't know, in your experience, if it's kind of those categories of people who fight.
Yep.
People who are like, because for example, I guess on the high level, like I look at Israel Adesanya.
Yep.
It's an athlete, you know.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But then it's sort of, you get someone maybe like Alex Pereira.
Yeah.
Like, he's an athlete, but he's kind of leaning more to almost a warrior. I mean, they're all warriors, if you know what I mean. But it's sort of like...
Yeah.
I don't know how to describe it. It's like a aura vibe sort of thing.
Maybe, yeah. I think there's definitely people, bro, that are like are born fighters. I think. But then there's a lot of people that made themselves into fighters. I think for Israel, like, I think Israel's, you know, I think he's a warrior. Like, I think he's a fighter. You know, like, because, bro, like,
I don't know. He is. It's just I'm just kind of like trying to like look at it like difficult. I guess there's also like background as well. Like where people come from.
Yeah, like Mike Tyson, bro. Like how many people have an upbringing like him? You know, like
it's almost like out of a book.
Yeah,
bro,
it's crazy.
People come out of these like story, like movie backgrounds. You know.
Yeah. So I feel like I was the same, bro. Like, I didn't have a crazy Mike Tyson upbringing. Like, pretty chill upbringing, you know. Like had 2 parents and stuff like that, and you know, like went to a nice school and stuff like that, you know. Like I wasn't that guy. Like I didn't, and that was probably like during my amateur career was probably how to channel that inner
dog.
Yeah, the inner dog, I guess, right? Like,
I suppose that's what it is.
Yeah, where does it come from, you know? But yeah, I to be honest, I think I heard it from Jason Suddy. Everyone has it, and they do. Everyone does have it. It's just how do you get to it? Yeah, how do you get to it within yourself? Yeah,
for sure. So starting off, you started at 16, if I'm not mistaken, when you like first kind of got into the gym.
Yeah.
Started at House of Pain you first started?
No. So I'm originally from Opotski,
okay.
Down the east coast, real small farmer town. Pretty much, bro, it's on the news for like the worst shit ever. But like Opotski, in my opinion, like Opotski's quite a beautiful place, like the beaches and stuff like that. So I grew up there, and then my first gym was in Whakatane. There was a local gym there, and yeah, my dad, I think it was my dad, he got me a pamphlet, and then, bro, I was kind of cool on like telling my friends I was going to like fight and stuff like that, and just like ride off the sort of like prestige of like, you know, I'm going to train and stuff like that. But my dad actually brought me into the gym and like made me look around and stuff like that. And then we left, and then for some reason, bro, I just decided to turn up to a class. I think my mum probably forced me because I said I was, and she was going like, you're not going to say you are, you're going to do it. And then, yeah, I started training from there. But, bro, like, I was so, like, undisciplined as a kid, bro. Like, I would, like, go to the gym, train for, like, an hour or whatever, do the class, and McDonald's was across the road.
Yeah.
Bro, I'd walk walk straight into McDonald's, bro. I'm getting me a slushie. I'm sitting there playing on my phone, like talking to my friends, like, yeah, no, I just finished training. And I would ride off that prestige for ages, bro. And then I was probably training for like 6 months to a year, just hitting pads and hitting the bag and stuff like that. I never sparred. I didn't think you had to spar, because no one, like, that gym was good in its own way, but not in the sense of like for a beginner trying to become a fighter. So I was like, no one told me you had to watch fights or spar or stuff like that if you wanted to fight. So I was like training there for like 6 months to a year, thinking like, why aren't I getting any fights? I'm like the man.
I'm smacking these bags.
I'm like smacking these bags and these pads. You know, like can't they see me? Then I sparred for the first time. Bro, I got my ass handed to me. It was crazy, and I was just like, damn, like I actually suck at fighting. But I still had that, like a kid, you know, I still had that ego in the back of my mind. So that took a while to, you know, smush that out. But yeah.
Yeah. So and then I guess from there you kind of were. Was it kickboxing? Was it Muay Thai you started in?
Bro, I actually started with. I originally started with jiu-jitsu. I originally started with jiu-jitsu, so I did like 2 months of jiu-jitsu, and I was doing like a couple kickboxing classes. I say 2 months of jiu-jitsu, like, bro, I suck at jiu-jitsu. Like, that was, like, you know, over 10 years ago. I can't remember anything.
That's so hard.
Yeah, bro, I was just rolling around with a bunch of, like, fat moldy guys. But,
just trying to get to, like,
bro, just thinking in my head, like, I'm the man. And to be fair, like, it all started, I just want to be the toughest in the school. So that was, like, my goal. But, yeah, that's where it started, bro. So I started jiu-jitsu, and then I just focused. I got my ass kicked in sparring. And I was like, nah, I just got to lock in on striking. And that's, here we are, 30 fights later.
Yeah, because like we were talking a little bit before we started about how you, you've done striking for so long, and the ground game it's not really something you're that bothered about. You want to try and bring up Muay Thai and bring up the, you know, like, what's the other name for it? There's I remember there's another term I read, like, there's another name for, like, Muay Thai. I can't remember what it was. Escapes me now. But anyway, you want to focus more on bringing that sport up.
Yeah, I just enjoy it, bro. Like, I enjoy getting punched in the face. I enjoy it. Like, there's something about it, bro. Like, yeah, I don't know why.
It's thrilling, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's quite, you know, like the monotony of life. And then you go to the gym, like, well, in my experience, like, you go to the gym and, you know, you get quite a good high after training hard as well, and, you know, good yarns with the boys and stuff like that, which is, you know.
Yeah, it keeps you disciplined, and I guess it makes things. for me, just as a hobbyist, and I just find it just makes life seem a little bit easier.
Yeah, for sure. But it's like the cheat code.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like the modern day life. It's like, oh, whether it be work or, what's happening in your life, and then you go to the gym, and if you do some hard training, even on the pads, or do some sparring, and it's just like, you know what?
Makes things a little bit nicer.
Good. I don't need to, I don't have to fight every day.
Yeah.
It's like, or things to worry about. So it helps with perspective, I find,
for sure.
which has been part of the reason I still do it, is to keep perspective of things, what's going on in my life, and also like what I always find funny about it as well, when I train, just even on pads or whatever it may be, I'll like go in, I'm feeling good today, and I have like a good session, and I'm like, right, I'm gonna spar, and I'm looking forward to it, and then I'll just just gas out after 2 rounds.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
And I'm like, but I was so good yesterday. Like, what happened to what happened?
It's so weird, eh? But then, like, you're like, man, I got to be better, and then like you come back the next day. And,
if you keep going. How many times do you spar a week?
Sparring. I only spar like twice a week.
Twice a week?
Twice a week in camp. Like usually twice a week out. But I try to stay in the gym year round, so I try to spar twice a week out of camp as well.
You kind of have to, right?
Yeah,
I can't imagine you can give yourself much leeway.
I don't think so, but I just enjoy it too. Like, I have no fights lined up currently, but I'm still coming in to spar and like kicking it with the boys and stuff like that. So.
But you just never know, I guess. Opportunity.
I never know, bro. So
that would be it. How did the King of the Ring opportunity kind of fall on your lap?
I'm not too sure. My coaches, they kind of just hit me up. My coach Ethan hit me up and said, "Do you want to have a crack?" And I was kind of like, I don't know. And he said, every New Zealand fighter should have at least one crack at the crown. And I think, having done it, I think so. I think every New Zealand fighter should aspire to have a crack at the crown. But it was always kind of like a childhood dream almost, like I first watched King of the Ring in 2015, where my second coach, Alexis Serapizos, won it for the first time. And bro, I was like, there's a fight on YouTube, Alexis Serapizos versus Kane Conlon. Bro, it's like, to this day, still my favorite fight of all time. Like, I think it's crazy, bro. Like, these dudes are like, I think Kane broke 2 ribs afterwards or something like that.
Jeez.
These guys went an extension round. It was crazy, bro. Like, probably, like, still the best fight I've seen to this day. And that fight inspired me because Lexi was quite a lot smaller than Kane. Like, Kane used to be a welterweight, and he came down to the lightweight division. So he was huge, bro. Compared to these other lightweights, he was huge, bro.
Well, what's lightweight for King of the Ring?
For King of the Ring, it's 62. But Kane was...
light.
Yeah, Kane was fighting at 66. So the weight I fight at now. And Kane was massive. And I was sitting there, and they walked out. And I remember I didn't know Alexi at the time. But I was like, bro, like, this big guy's going to, like, bash him. And Alexi was crazy, bro. He was just, like, rallying back and, like, pretty much just putting the work on him. They were putting the work on each other, really. And I was just like sitting there, and Alexi won, and I was sitting there just inspired, bro. I was just like, wow, that's crazy. I'd love to like have that moment for myself. But like I say, I was like 16, 17, and I was just a kid. So, that was just like a dream almost, like a far away dream that I never thought would present itself. But honestly, when the opportunity did arise from Ethan, I text Alexi. He holds pads for me. He's quite as much a coach as Ethan is to me. And I said, what do you reckon? And he said, I reckon you should have a crack. And I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah. Damn, just like that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Just like that. Yeah, have a crack. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that really takes And I guess because you know what you're in for as well. It's not like a surprise or something, I suppose, is it being like, oh yeah, I'll do a few fights and see how we go.
Yeah.
So did you train, what was the training like for that? I'm assuming you've answered this question, but I'll ask you again.
The training camp was hard, bro, but so in the morning, we do it quite differently. In the morning, so I hit pads with Ethan in the mornings, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So we'd do 3 rounds, 3 hard, we'd do a warm-up round. And then we'd go straight into 3 hard pad rounds. You in Muay Thai or kickboxing, you do your 20 kicks at the start of the round, 20 kicks in the middle of the round kind of thing. So we'd do that, 3 hard rounds. And then I would take my gloves off and sit down for like 15, 20 minutes, completely cool down. Sitting there, he would sort of yarn and, would talk and stuff like that. And basically the theory behind that was I was visualizing being in the back room, after having my first fight. And so then, 15, 20 minutes is done. I got to chuck my gloves on. I don't get to shadow or anything. I go straight back into 3 hard rounds on the pads, 20 kicks, start of the round, 20 kicks, middle of the round. And basically now, so we had the first one, he would be calling combos and stuff like that. The second fight, I'll say, like the second set of pads, it would be all on me. So Ethan's a really amazing pad holder in the fact that he can catch anything I throw. We have a really good pad relationship. So he can catch anything I throw. I'll throw like a 1-2-3 leg kick, he'll catch all the punches, no sweat. So basically I'd just throw whatever I wanted. And it was basically, the theory was it's whatever I have left here and in my head, like whatever combos I can think of, whatever shots I can think of. He'd be throwing back too, he'd be throwing kicks and he'd be throwing the pads back as if they're punches. So I do 3 rounds of that, and then so that was the first couple weeks. Then the next couple weeks was we'd do the 6 rounds with the 15-20 minute break in between. But I'd be on the bag or I'd be shadow boxing to get ready for that third fight per se. And then it was the last week, my last hard week of training, where we did the 9 rounds. So 3 rounds, break 20 minutes, another 3 rounds, break 20 minutes. Then the last 3 rounds, the final per se.
How long is each round?
3 minutes.
3 minutes,
just like the fight. 3 minutes. So we kept it very fight specific. And then so that was with Ethan, and then my second trainer, Alexi, he comes from a very heavy Muay Thai background. So there was no break, there was no fancy stuff. We'd just do 7, 9 hard rounds on the pads, like old school style. Like 30-second break in between. So 3 minutes, 30-second break, and just straight into the next one. We'd just rally them out like that.
Not much sparring in any of the lead up?
Sparring was normal, except for the last week we kept it very fight specific. 3 rounds, break, 10 minutes, 3 rounds again, 10-minute break, 3 rounds again.
I think because from what I understand, it's like you have to be quite careful between that like 2 weeks out from the fight if you're sparring, because it's like obviously things can go wrong and
a little bit.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like you got to be careful, but you also got to be training hard.
You got to be training.
It's your last the 2 weeks out. It's your last hard week of training, and then fight week. Obviously, you're starting to taper off, but you have that last push when you're 2 weeks out. So you're kind of like firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like I kind of can only imagine like before it, like how much can you do? Like not just in terms of that sort of prep, but it's all like so much in here.
That's the thing with
you have to like train your mind to be like, okay, I'm gonna just listen to the coaches. You almost have to be like stoic. I'd imagine.
That's the thing for an 8-man. Like you can do the three rounds break, 3 rounds again. You can do all that, but nothing. Like I genuinely mean it. Nothing will prepare you for your adrenaline going bong, 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 bong. So that all comes from yourself. Like no one can tell you any tips or any simple tricks or whatever. Like it all comes from you.
Yeah, so that's actually something I want to ask you as well, is how do you control adrenaline? Because obviously we're saying training, you can do as much prep as you want, but on fight night, you got a crowd, you got cameras, you got fucking, whatever, a lot of distractions, a lot of people, a lot of noise, music, it's like a whole ordeal. How do you kind of zone in on what you're there to do?
For me, like, I don't look at the crowd or the, the cameras and stuff like that. I just got to focus on myself. Like, I just got to focus on myself, my coaches, they give me advice. No one's like, bro, I don't want no yes men hanging around me in the back room. I don't want no people like talking me up. I just want, Ethan, Alexi, a couple of my good teammates, Carlos, Quaid, or whoever's there. I just want those guys because they're going to tell me how it is and they're going to tell me it straight. I just want the people that got me to the dance there. I don't want no noise, no distractions. I just keep it all quite like...
black and white.
My core people. Yep.
Yeah, let's keep it as black and white as we can. Well, that's one thing that I really enjoy about even, when I go to the martial art gym and do some stuff is like, it's really nice how things are just like, it's either this or this. Yeah. It's like you got it right or it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's sort of, what I like about it, it kind of, life can get complicated. And I feel like in the gym, in those places, it kind of simplifies things.
Yeah, for sure.
And just to kind of from what you're saying, it's sort of like, yeah, like there's a lot of distractions. It can be very, you can look at everything around you, but with the right people and like you're there to do a job and you got your mindset focused, it's fine. Yeah, so good. No, that's awesome, bro. That's fucking cool. Yeah, I think, I'd imagine there are some people out there who have the yes men around them.
Yeah, bro.
And I'd imagine that would, it's so interesting with fighting though, isn't it? Because I think, like you said before, there are people who get really overconfident, or like, oh, you win a few fights, I'm the fucking man.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take much for like the next one. You have a little bit an off day.
Yep.
The stars align differently, and your opponent's got the upper hand, and suddenly you're not the man anymore. So
sometimes you live in your dream, and sometimes you live in someone else's.
Exactly. Yeah. So I imagine like that would be. Yeah, it's interesting when you see like even like I think the first time I ever watched MMA or fighting, like on TV, and there was all the shit talking. I get it because obviously you're hyping the fight and trying to sell it. It's a different game. But I always found it weird. But then when you get put in the ring in the cage, it's like
there's no talking.
Shit talk all you want.
Yeah, bro. That's it. That's why I don't mind like people. I mean, personally, I don't shit talk. Yeah, but like when I see like UFC guys do it, I don't mind, bro. Like because it's all banter. Oh, hopefully it's all banter.
Not always.
Not always, but I mean they're gonna sort it out. When they fight anyway.
But it's a different, right? It's a business model. Like you want to sell your fight, and people have different ways of selling fights. And I think at the end of the day, like it is about putting bums on seats and getting people to come. So I think it's also culturally like it's an American company, so Americans, they're much more louder and that, whereas in New Zealand we're a bit more like reserved.
Quite reserved.
We don't like that thing. Yeah. We really hate it. Humble, bit more like, when people shit talk like that, it's like, oh, okay, like that sounds like people. It's sort of like the tall poppy syndrome works out, I think, well in that way. It works out well in that way. But works out bad in other ways because. Actually, I'd like to ask you about that, actually, because you're obviously going after this dream of being a world champion and stuff, and that's fucking awesome, dude. But, like, I imagine when you tell people those sorts of things, do you get, what kind of responses? Are people mostly supportive?
A little bit. I try to, I've definitely had my fair share of naysayers, that's for sure. But, it hurts the most when it's some people closest to you. But like I say, like I think, fuck the noise. That's all you gotta say is, like as long as you gotta back yourself and stuff like that. Like I remember I started my job, the current job I'm at, and I was fighting for my first title, and I'd reshared. One of my teammates said, like, oh, Michael Isaac's gonna win his first title, and I reshared it on Instagram. And then someone I used to work with commented back and was like, oh, as if, whatever. And I just kind of sat there and I was like, damn, bro, like, what the hell? And I just didn't say anything, but I won my first title, and I was like, yeah, stuff you work. But nah, like, I don't know. It is what it is. Like, I think people just don't like seeing people do better than them, right? And that's
I think that's a very New Zealand thing as well. I think that's even. I mean, everywhere people do that all around the world, but I feel like in New Zealand probably the UK and maybe Australia a little bit. Like there's quite a lot of that. Sort of when people, you want to cut them, trim them down and stuff. And I imagine, which is also like a bit of it's always a shame. So one thing I try and strive, even with this podcast, even like upcoming, a lot of musicians, creatives and stuff, and people get started. It's just like you just keep going, just keep doing it. But the thing is, you're always going to have people who are like, nah, you're not as good as you say you are. It doesn't stop. I mean, you get the champions of the world, and still people doubt them. And
look at Izzy, bro. He was like,
I know,
UFC middleweight world champion. People, New Zealanders were just chipping him down.
Yeah,
bro, really.
I think it was because of the attitude he had. I feel people, in my opinion, it's because people didn't believe he represented New Zealand well, which is always like, it's like, but he's got, And now, finally, like, it's always, I find it crazy now, like, you got, Dan Hooker on ESPN doing shows and stuff. I'm like, wow, like, the sport's like that now in New Zealand. Like, it's finally getting respect, which is really weird when you think about it, because it's, they got a lot of shit, and there was all that stuff during COVID with fighters, training in the gym, but there was, like, what was it, like, your lockdown group that you meant to be with or whatever, got a heat in the media, and then everyone was talking shit about it. Like, even I think politicians were. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute, there's all this money in it, and there's all this, and oh yeah,
yeah, you guys can train.
yeah.
Bro, really?
Yeah. I don't like that kind of thing. New Zealand does that. I talked about it on here, not just with martial arts, but it happens a lot even in like the creative world. Musicians and that in New Zealand, it's really hard to try and pursue a lot of things in New Zealand if you want to do them professionally outside of like a normal job.
Yeah,
it's quite hard to pursue some of these things because it's a small country. We don't have as many opportunities in some ways. I think in the fighting world, it's probably improving.
Yeah.
But my point is, like, for the creative, like, some, like, musos or people go overseas and they do well over there. And everyone's like, oh, wait, you're from New Zealand.
Yeah.
And it's just
he's
like,
from here. We're trying to claim him.
But you didn't give a fuck about me when I was trying to do something back home.
Bro,
that's, like, the classic case I've found with how, like, New Zealanders work, so...
And then if they don't get that reaction, they're like, oh, he's a traitor anyway. He went over to Australia. He went to Perth or some shit.
Went to Australia and tried. He went to go and try.
Yeah. Went to go make more money.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like, man, so cringe. He went to try.
Yeah.
I don't know anywhere else in the world that does that.
Yeah. It's a New Zealand thing, but I don't know, like... Yeah, as long as, like, I suppose the people that realise that there's this tall poppy syndrome, are chirping out and trying to chop it down, hopefully it'll make a difference, surely.
Yeah, you hope so, So, and instead of, like, what I want to talk about is the balance of, your fighting career and wanting to pursue this incredible dream, and into, obviously, the reality of paying bills and paying rent.
Yeah.
How do you... I guess navigate that. How do you balance?
How do I balance? Bro. I mean, in all honesty, I don't balance. I don't balance well. If I'm honest, and maybe my boss is listening to this, bro, I'm pretty often 10, 15 minutes late to work every day. It's a bit of a running joke, but I've been there for so long that my boss is kind of like, look, I know you're going to be late. Just just say you're starting at this time. Don't say you're starting at 7:30 because I don't want to pay you for when you're not actually here. I don't know. I had young guys hit me up about balance and stuff like that. How do I balance training and life and stuff like that? I think, like, I find it pretty difficult, bro. Like, I struggle all the time with balance and stuff like that. Like, I'm always at the gym and I'm always training and stuff like that. So I feel like when I'm in a normal person situation, like, I was hanging out with my friends the other weekend and we were at a cafe. And, bro, like, I don't go out. Like, I'm at the gym and then I come home and I eat my food and I sleep and then I go back to the gym. Like, that's my typical Saturday. So I'm at this cafe with my mates and I'm kind of like sketching out because, like, bro, this is a kind of weird scene for me. Like, I don't go out often, bro. And they know because they're like my close friends, so they're kind of laughing at me. But I'm just like, bro. And even like simple things like going to the movies, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know movies had self-serve thing. I like went to Hoyt's and I was like doing the self-serve. I was like, bro, this is crazy. Like, what the hell? I haven't been to the movies in like freaking 4 years.
Yeah.
They didn't have it 4 years ago. But bro, I think, like, if you're trying to achieve something, like, if you're trying to do something and you're passionate about something, like, you got to be a little bit weird. You got to be a little bit crazy to it. You got to be a little bit, like, and especially with fighting, like, bro, I could tell you right now, there's no normal fighters. No. Like, you can't be normal and fight. Like, there's probably some, like, people that are more normal than each other, but you got a little bit of weirdness about you. So I feel like if you're trying to achieve something, bro, you got to be like, whether it's business, fighting, being the best dad you can be, or whatever it is, bro, like, you kind of got to lock in on that and be a little bit gone to it, right? Like, be a little bit strange. Obsessive.
You got to be really obsessive, right? Yeah. And visualization is a big one, isn't it?
For sure.
Like, what is it I manifest, as people say?
I manifested this.
Yeah, manifesting. Yeah. But, like, I guess you have to, right? Yeah. Otherwise, it's like, well, what is this all for?
For sure.
Yeah. I've sort of found that even, like, with myself trying to go after things I like, and I'm like, what is it that I actually want? Like, what is it? What does all this work for? And then it's like, I've only feel like I've answered that in the last few years, which is funny because when I was younger, I'm like, originally I thought I was going to be a rock star.
Yeah.
And then I was like, the realities of life kind of came in and
bills and
all that, and I was like, oh, fuck, this is hard. And then, but now I'm like, oh, I know what I want. That's cool. And then sort of like it's all good and just consider showing up. And that's something else I love about martial arts is like the beauty of just like showing up and keep doing it and then it shows. You'll get it. Like with anything, I suppose. But I think physically, it again, like seeps into the rest of your life, I find, with things that I do as well. Like everything in my life kind of improves, and like a bit older now, so I don't party as much as I used to. But I find now, like, I don't even really enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm older and the hangovers are more brutal, but just because it's not as fun. It's just not as fun. Like I get kind of tired, and you get in conversations, which is with people, which is always all good. But then it's sort of like, and then what?
Yeah.
You know, standing around for too long.
But I kind of had that. I was with another set of mates. They're from my hometown, and like they had different sort of lives to me. Like, because I went to 2 different high schools. So I did my first year in Portuguese, and then I did my second year in Whakatane. And I was hanging out with my Portuguese high school friends. Like, these are guys I've known since I was like 8 years old.
Yeah.
So they know me real well. And I remember, like, before hanging out with them, like I was driving to the place, and I was kind of sitting there like, man, I kind of like missed out a little bit. Like, you know, they did their own stuff and did cool stuff. You know, like some of them traveled, and some of them are traveling right now. And I remember going there and turned up, and they were yarning. You know, I was yarning about fighting and stuff like that. I was telling them all about that because they don't know. Like, they follow along, but they don't know like the intricacies of fighting. So I was telling them all that, and they were kind of like just intrigued. And I kind of sat back and I was looking around, and I was like, you know what, I didn't miss out on anything. Like, you know, like I kind of like backed myself in that point. You know, like I didn't like party with them or anything. You know, like I was doing my own thing and stuff like that. So I was kind of like, nah, like I'm all good. You know, like I didn't miss out on all that.
You chose the right path that you should have been doing.
The right path for me.
Yeah, the right path for you. Yeah, they're kind of like the FOMO, right? Like fear of missing out. Like, did I miss out on this? Did I miss out on that? And it's funny though, bro, because well, for me with my life stage, I've got people around me getting married and having kids, and you know, generally late 20s, early 30s is when that sort of starts happening. I think, and you start realizing that, you know, if your whole life was your mates, or your whole life was like socializing and that, it's like, well, now you got to find another group to go do this with, you know, and it's and then you get to, like, you know, some people get kind of stuck in this world. I've seen it a few times. People, especially when I used to work in events and do a bit of like even gigs and stuff, and I'd see people like, I kind of stuck in like the trying to find the crowd. Always, but because they're maybe it's too scared to be alone with themselves, or they don't want to face themselves, or whatever. So you're looking for affirmation from other people. Yeah, bro. And I'm like, oh, that's not a good place to be.
You're kind of looking at them, and you're like, brother, it's time to grow up.
A
little bit. You know?
Yeah, you know, it's like you can't live. I mean, people do, which is it's interesting. I don't know if you found this now that you've gotten a little bit older, but for me, I was just surprised that like adults don't really exist.
They don't really. Yeah, like I feel like when you get to the age of like 25 or so, you used to look at your parents as in, like, you know, your parents, they know everything, but I found that when I got older, I kind of looked at them and were like, you know, they were first time parents, you know, they were learning how to be a parent on the job kind of thing, you know, so they don't know everything. They're just a bunch of people doing their best, you know, like, you know, it's like, I suppose when you get older, you realize, like, there's no such thing as an adult.
No, and I found that with like people I've worked with and jobs and people who even own, like what surprises me, I talk about one of my good mates, we talk about this a lot, he works in marketing as well, and like people in business who have a lot of money and who again end up in these positions, and you know, you're trying to get investments and pitches and stuff, and they just don't know shit. And you're just like, how did you get all this money? Bro. Like, and I just get amazed. I'm just constantly amazed of being like, wow, like, you know, people are like quite detached, like a bit more detached than you think, and a bit more fugazi is the word. It goes, you know, it goes. But and probably in the fight world, there's probably a bit of that even I like the fight business. Maybe not in New Zealand, I don't know, but I know a little bit about the boxing world, and that sounds like a mess.
Sounds crazy, bro.
Like a real seedy industry and real weird. I heard something about I talked about it with a guy recently actually on here about like with some of the boxing now. I think more than before, it's like you really need everyone has like a padded record. So it's like you can't lose. So you have to have consistent wins, and they'll just kind of feed you, like, you know, walking like people who can't fight. And then you just build up this record, and then that's how you that's
opportunity on big shows. It's kind of like the Mayweather effect, right? Like
I think so.
49-0.
Yeah, it's just like, but is it?
I suppose it's good for for TV, right?
It's good for TV. And now But did you pay much attention to I don't know, like, get your opinion on it, like, because like the quality of boxing, from what I can see, kind of probably been hurt by that a lot.
Yeah.
And so from what I see now, you see like, you know, the Mike Tyson, Jake Paul fight and stuff, and it's like that's all a bit of a laugh.
Yep.
But kind of harms the sport, do you think?
Or
what do you think about it?
Yes and no. I think, in my opinion, like, you know, love him or hate him, Jake Paul, you know, like he's kind of getting eyes on boxing, right? Like, so I think all in all,
he's good at what he does.
Yeah, for sure.
Not going to knock him for that.
So I think all in all, like, I don't know, we can sit here and talk shit and be like, you know, it fucking sucks. He's fighting Mike Tyson, you know, like old Mike Tyson. But it's like, end of the day, like, it is viewers, it is bums and seats. You know, people are watching. You know, more casual people are paying attention to combat sports. Whether or not they're getting the wrong idea that it's a bit of a joke or, you know, stuff like that, it's still eyes on the sport, which is, I suppose, better than no eyes on the sports. You know, like people thinking we're just a bunch of knuckle draggers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm for it, but you know, there is the flip side to where, you know, like it's a little bit cheesy, but yeah, beggars can't be choosers at this point, and fight sports needs anything, you know, to get that viewership.
Yeah, because once money gets involved, doesn't it? Changes everything. Changes everything, right? Yep. Like, it's never going to be this pure, like, raw thing. Yeah. It's like, I mean, it is when they're in there eventually, but, you know, all the negotiations to get them there.
Yeah.
You know, it's another whole thing.
Yep.
Yeah. I imagine that won't be too far away from you, for you, at some point.
Oh, man, I don't know. Hopefully I'm making that kind of money. Like Jake Paul type of shit. Yeah.
It's
maybe
crazy.
I'll just fight twice and then be like, oh, yeah, I don't ever fight again.
$10 million per fight. Yeah, that'd be all right.
Sweet. I'll live off that for the rest of my life.
He's got to go into boxing.
Yeah, but, oh, man. Yeah. Terrible boxer, eh?
Have you ever tried it? Just straight boxing rounds
with pure boxing. I've done boxing rounds, but like not with a boxer. Real boxer. I've sparred a couple boxers, like real boxers, but
I mean
they were obviously like taking it a little bit easy on me because they knew I was a kickboxer and stuff like that. But it's its own sport, bro. Like I see like a lot of kickboxers and
talk shit.
MMA, they think, oh, boxing's easy, and it's like, nah, bro. Like it's its own sweet science, you know, and you got to respect it for what it is. Boxing's like. Yeah, just because you're a decent kickboxer, you know, you get a couple knockouts with your hand. You know, I've got, you know, a couple knockouts with body shots and stuff like that. Does not mean I'm a good boxer, bro. Like, there's some guys that are killers. Yeah, for sure. So,
a good test of that kind of thing wasn't boxing, actually. It was actually Muay Thai versus MMA. And if you saw the Demetrius Johnson and Rodtang fight, a few years ago. But like that, like, Demetrius Johnson did really well in that first round. But if I'm being honest, one or two more rounds,
in the Muay as a stand up,
if it was purely Muay Thai, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I always find those fights cheesy because like
it's
like, oh, Demetrius did good in the first round. I was like, but like if it was like you say 2 more rounds, like Rodtang would have had him and you kind of expect that though, right? Because Rodtang's a Muay Thai fighter, right? Like
done it since he was like 4 or something.
Yeah, and then obviously like get to the MMA round. Of course, Demetrius is gonna like beat him
where's
up.
the takedown? You know, and of course Rodtang is gonna run away. Like you know.
But I don't know. It's all fun and, you know, it's all fun for the sport, right? Like, I mean, hopefully one made a bit of money from that kind of thing.
Yeah. Hopefully they did. But it's like you said, you know, it's like it's its own thing. It's its own like, thing, bro. Just because you could, like, with MMA, I think people like, I can do everything. It's like, but what happens if you're against a guy who's only done that?
Yeah.
You know,
and you're only doing that.
You're only doing that thing. So I think everything probably has its sweet spot. I think the only I had Adam on here a while back, and we were talking about how like there are some martial arts that are probably a little bit useless though.
Yeah.
Like what was the one? It's almost not Aikido, but something like that. But it's almost
like
it
the Steven Seagal one?
Yeah, like sort of doing that.
Yeah. It's kind of cheesy, eh? Like you kind of got to question like how legit Steven Seagal is. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he is.
Maybe he is, right?
Maybe he is, bro. But yeah, there's some people calling him out, that are like, nah, it's not legit.
Yeah. But I think it's almost like you're only going to be successful, like, say, in a fight if the other person does that as well.
Yeah.
But what if it's... but it's a sport, like, so all good. Yeah. But if you want to look at it, like, actually as a fight, it's like... but then you could argue that with a lot of things. Like jiu-jitsu, it's like, are you going to go to the ground?
Yeah.
It's like, but maybe, you know, like... But then as soon as you get a hold of somebody, it's like, oh, it's game over, you know?
That's it. Yeah.
So, everything's got its nuances and its place. But, I don't know if there really is a superior martial art.
I don't reckon there is.
I don't really know if there is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because even like if you just focus purely on striking, it's like you've missed out on probably a lot of other things. If it's just ground game, then it's like, I mean, there was that fight recently with was it Bryce Mitchell and one of the Gracies? I don't know if you watched it. UFC.
Was it Crone Gracie?
Yes, Crone. Crone. And they
Yeah.
fought, and obviously he's a Gracie, so jiu-jitsu is like highest level.
Yeah.
But that was kind of it. It will kind of rest on his laurels of it, and how he lost was Bryce Mitchell because he got him in like full mount.
Yeah.
So like Bryce was he was trying to pull him down to his guard.
Yeah.
But Bryce Mitchell just smashed him with an elbow, and that was it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's like, come on, dude, you got to do a bit more than just rely on the jiu-jitsu, you know? Because he just try and hold him there.
Yeah.
But wouldn't really act on it.
I don't know a whole lot about jiu-jitsu and MMA, but I've heard like some jiu-jitsu like moves or like positions don't work very well in MMA, like obviously because you're getting hit. Yeah, like I say, I could kind of see that, you know, and it, you know, like you say about Crone Gracie, like kind of expected, eh? Like, you know, he's purely jiu-jitsu and like obviously old mate comes in, bang. Yeah. You know, how often has Crone been in that position? Damn.
Yeah, I'll pull him into my guard and go for a choke, but his arm's free.
His elbow
Yeah. It's interesting that, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So outside of so I mean, I imagine you probably just regard your daily routine will be try and get a good sleep, wake up, go gym, go work, come home, go gym, sleep, eat. What is your like for diet wise? Do you stick to anything kind of strict, or you sort of know what food? I mean, apart from the generic stuff like junk food, but do you sort of obviously heavy protein diet, heavy veg fruit diet? Like what sort of things do you sort of
in terms of diet? I try to just keep it quite balanced. You know, like bro, like now, like I haven't got any fights. Like I won't lie, I'm no stranger to a donut, but like even when I'm in fight camp, you know, like if I'm burning a lot of calories, like you know, there'll be a cheeky pie here and there, but you know, I think like. If my weight's high and I'm in camp, you know, I know what to cut out to sort of get it to a good level, you know. If that's not working, I'll cut something else out and replace it with something else, you know. So the goal in a fight camp is to try to be fueled and get the weight off, you know, chip it off. But generally I get that off by like eating quite, you know, 95% clean and obviously the heavy training load. So, you know, the calories are being burnt and the weight's coming off. But right now, we're all like just in general, I don't follow any sort of like crazy diet rules, you know. I try to get my like a high amount of protein in, good carbs, you know, and just stuff like that. But I keep it pretty balanced, eh? Like there's no crazy like no dairy or no like, you know, just a fruit only diet, you know. There's none of that going on.
So because what's your don't mind me asking, what's your walk around weight?
I walk around about when I'm in camp probably about 73 in the morning.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. That's
so
like fit.
Yeah, so you're not cutting crazy,
not a crazy amount
not crazy
of weight,
things,
but even then, like I think I'm quite experienced with weight cutting. Like I say, I was surrounded by a lot of professional fighters and champion fighters, you know, so they knew how to cut weight, you know. They cut the carbs, cut the salt, multiple liters of water is pretty standard practice. But yeah, like so I'm pretty experienced in that sense, and I feel like my body just knows. My body knows when I start drinking the multiple liters of water, it knows, okay, it's time to cut weight. And because I've got quite a lot of high muscle mass, you know, I've got a lot of water weight hanging on me. So, you know, when I'm in the sauna, it peels off essentially. But yeah, I've had no issues making weight. But I moved up to, what was it, maybe three years ago? I moved up to welterweight. I used to fight at 63.5.
So light, bro.
So light, bro. But so my amateur titles, I won them all at 63.5, which is super welterweight. But then when I turned about 24 or so, that's when I started, my body was changing. Like I was walking around heavier and I was eating the same amount of food. I was like, what the hell? But I think it was just my body going from boy to a man, you know, like I put on a bit of extra size. I didn't grow any taller, but, you know, unfortunately. But
you got the muscles.
I put on some size, you know, and I think it happens quite a lot for, like I have a lot of fighter mates that are, you know, 23, 24, and as soon as they hit like 24 to 25, that's when they just start putting on weight. And it's like, bro, I still got abs at whatever weight they walk around in. It's like, bro, it's because your body's maturing now. And that's what I found. So now, like, my weight's, like, steady at a standstill. But, yeah, from, like, 24 to 25, it just boom, shot straight up.
That's smart though, because from what I can see with fighters, and then you want to people try and fight in the lighter weight division, so you have an advantage in that.
Yeah.
But those weight cuts can be
It can kill you.
It can kill you.
Yeah.
And that's like you got to be really
Make you
careful.
pretty chinny as well.
Yeah, I bet. So
sure.
you got all the disadvantages. Yeah, I remember when I watched like early Dan Hooker fights, and he was fighting in like featherweight,
crazy, bro.
and I'm like, bro, you're like almost
big,
the same
bro.
height as me.
I saw him today, bro, and I was like,
Yeah.
damn, you're a big boy, bro.
He's big.
He's big, man.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
fights in light, which is already pretty crazy in my opinion.
yeah.
But he, does really well in it, and amazing. But
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, bro, like
Yeah.
that's crazy. And you used to
crazy.
fight even lighter.
Yeah. They get a lot of more time to rehydrate in MMA. I think it's like 36
okay.
hours or something like that.
Right.
Because they weigh in at like 10 a.m. or something like that.
Mm.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see Pereira getting back down to
middleweight.
I don't reckon he can.
I don't
eh?
even know how he did
too
it.
big.
That was crazy.
He's huge, bro.
He even got to middleweight. I'm just like, how?
Yeah.
It's so big. Walks around at like heavyweight.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's even getting to light heavyweight for him is probably like, got to cut a little bit just to do that.
Yeah.
So that's fucking insane. Yeah. But yeah, man, oh, good that you're keeping healthy and you're keeping aware of that stuff, because I think, not that I have much experience talking to other fighters about this, but I think you can probably get trapped in the idea of like, oh, if I cut my weight, I can fight, lighter opponents and I might have an advantage, but probably the long-term effects of it could be quite severe.
There's a bit of a sweet spot, with like weight cutting, like I'm quite a short guy. I'm like, I fight at 66.6 these days, which is welterweight for Muay Thai. I'm pretty short for that weight, I'm 5'7", but most welterweights are about 5'9". Everyone in King of the Ring was taller than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd walk around probably about the same weight as them. So yeah, sometimes you just gotta, put your health on the line for that kind of goal. Yeah.
Yeah. If it's worth it, that's the thing, right?
For sure.
I mean, yeah, you've made that like inner decision to yourself. It's like I will do this, and I will at whatever cost. Which is kudos, bro.
Yeah.
Got to be strong to do that stuff. All right, bro. I think we'll head into. I'll do like a little quick fires at the end.
Yeah, bro.
Quick-fire questions, and
sure.
we'll wrap it up there. First one: favorite cheat meal.
Favorite cheat meal? Oh, bro. Right, I like fish and chips. I like fish and chips.
Good old fish and chips.
Battered Mora. You tried a battered Mora?
Nope.
Bro, they're horrible for you. Eat one, you feel like you're gonna have a heart attack, but like you probably don't want to be eating like multiple of them.
Yeah.
I'll have like after a fight, I'll have fish and chips, but I'll get the cheeky battered Mora, bro. It's so horrible for you. Like that, you'll eat it, and you'll think like you're gonna have a heart attack or something. It's terrible for you. Like,
True.
The last one I had was probably about maybe last year. After King of the Ring, but yeah, bro, probably just that, just greasy fish and chips with like heaps of batter on it, just horrible for you. Like, just love
delicious.
that. Yeah,
especially if you've been eating clean for ages, I imagine.
Yeah,
there's a place in town in Auckland, and it's called Sneaky Snacky.
Yeah,
and they do like donut burgers.
Yeah,
if you want a dirty cheat meal, that's just filth.
Keep me away from that.
Yeah, that's just
heavyweight.
yeah, we're moving up.
Yeah.
Another one. What's your favorite exercise to do in the gym?
Favorite exercise? Like weights wise?
Could be exercise, or like it could be just in the martial art gym as well, or the gym. Like, what's something you really enjoy?
I like sparring. Bro.
Sparring.
I like sparring. Sparring's good.
Sparring's good.
Yep.
Mean. What's a stereotype you get from people about being a fighter?
Ooh. Most people don't know a fight. So if you look at it, because I don't really look like a fighter, I don't have, a lot of fighters have heaps of tattoos. I don't have heaps of tattoos. And I got quite a normal looking face. I'm quite a normal looking dude, I feel like. So a lot of people don't think I'm a fighter, but when I tell them I am, what is something they obviously think I'm quite an aggressive guy.
Are you in a gang?
Yeah, well they just think I'm like an angry dude, and it's man, I don't think I am. Well, hopefully I'm not. Like, no.
Why are you so angry?
Yeah. I'm like, mad, bro. Chill out.
Yeah. Wait till I see red.
Yeah. Body's on the floor.
Yeah. That's it. What would be your advice to somebody who would like to try and take fighting seriously?
To take fighting seriously,
like someone who's maybe been doing a little bit of training and they're thinking of pursuing a journey like yourself.
I think the biggest advice, bro, and I said this to a kid the other day at my home gym. It's like you feel like you're FOMO, you know, you feel like you're missing out and stuff like that. I feel like it's just forget about all the noise, bro. You know, it's okay to like, you know, like, bro, I've been drunk like 3 times in my life.
Wow.
I'm 27 years old. I've been drunk like 3 times in my life.
And you live in Hamilton.
And I live in Hamilton.
That's crazy.
Yeah, probably not even properly drunk. I've never had a hangover and stuff like that.
Wow.
But like, I used to, like, a few years ago, bro, like, I'd look at that and be like, man, that, you know, like, I'm missing out.
Mm.
But I remember talking about it with my coach. Like, he was like, bro, you didn't miss out. Like, what's cool about fucking being a retard? You know, like, drinking heaps and shit like that, you know? You're just doing your own thing. Not to say, like, people that drink it, you know, like, that it's wrong. Like, all good.
Yeah,
You know, but I'd just say, like, to any kid that wants to take it seriously, like, bro, just lock in. Like, it's all good to, like, just because your mates are all doing, like, dumb shit, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, you do your own thing and just back yourself, bro. You're not missing out on all the girls, all the parties, all the fucking drugs your mates are taking. Like, that shit's always going to be there. Like, whether you make it, whether you don't make it, that's always there. Like, I've got mates that are still hanging out in the pub, you know, and they were doing that 10 years ago. So that's what I'd say, bro. Just lock in, you know. It's all good to go on your different path and, you know, like, not be involved in all that because, bro, ultimately you're not missing out. Like, take it from me, I'm 27. Used to think, you know, used to have FOMO, but, bro, I didn't miss out on jack shit. I got the same yarns that anyone who is doing that shit or was doing that shit, I've got the same amount of yarns.
Better yarns.
Yeah, I don't know about better, bro. I'm shy as hell. I don't know better yarns, but yeah, if people can get down to my yarns, then yeah, for sure, might have some decent ones. Yeah.
Fair. What's something like we talked about the challenge before, but what would you say like when you're in the gym? There's been you've been trying to learn something and you've sort of had to really you've had like a challenge. What am I trying to say? Hold on. Turning up to the gym. How do you, or you know, you say you love it in that.
Yep.
But how do you get there on your off days?
On my off days, well, so I said it in. I did an interview. I think it was after King of the Ring. So when I moved to Hamilton, when I was a kid. Actually, I'd finished high school and I was moving up to. I was picking somewhere to move to, and I was only going to move somewhere that had a gym for me to train at. So I was picking like a place that had my favorite fighters at it. I didn't care what job I got. Like, I could have been working at friggin' McDonald's. Like, so long as I could get to training at 5, 6 o'clock, whatever time people were training at. Yeah, so I was sitting there, and yeah, I think I'd picked Hamilton or something like that, and you know, evidently I moved to Hamilton, and yeah, I think I definitely I go back to that. Like, I left, like, you know, every time I go home back to a Portuguese, you know, like, I think, you know, my mum's a little bit older and stuff like that, so when I go back, it's quite nice to see her, and I get quite sad leaving, you know. Actually, I'll be completely honest, you know, before my world title fight, which was my last fight, bro, I was driving back to Hamilton. I cut out seeing my parents and like my family 8 weeks out. That's just something I do. I remember driving back, it was like, I think it was 8 weeks on the Monday, you know, so it was like a Sunday I was driving back. And bro, I remember, like, bro, I started tearing up, because it's like, bro, it's quite hard, like, leaving your family and stuff like that. Like, my nephews are back down there, and, you know, my mum and my stepdad and stuff like that. It's quite a nice life. It's quite a chill life. And bro, I was like kind of gutted, I was just like, man, like, I'm not going to see my mum for like 8 weeks, you know, I'm just going to talk to her on the phone and stuff like that. So, like, I definitely look as to why I moved up to Hamilton. You know, I wanted to be the best fighter I could be, you know, so I look at that, you know, and during the hard days where I don't want to go to training, I'm just like, bro, you come up here to fuck around, because you may as well just go home. You may as well go home and sit and eat mum's cooking, or sit and, you know, hang around like all your other mates that are still back there in a Portuguese. But yeah, no, I think of that, bro. So yeah, that's kind of the why, you know, why you're up here.
No, that's powerful. No, I'd imagine that's what you have to do though, because it's like, bro, well, if I'm not going to commit, then like, why have I sacrificed all this family time and friends or other things? Yeah, no, that's awesome. One more. When are we going to see you on the front of NZ Boxer Raps again?
Oh, bro, shit. Oh, man, if they're going to freaking offer me to do something else, maybe you'll see me doing like a box finesse thing at some point when they release those raps, or I don't know. Yeah, so I'm sponsored by Box Finesse.
Oh, there you go.
Oz Jabeur, who runs Box Fitness and CSN.
You go, they do. So what do they do? Wraps. They do.
They
gloves,
do wraps, gloves, all sorts of fight gear, training gear and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully I get some more shoots with them and
Nice.
pump that brand out there.
Yeah. I need some more wraps. Do I need some more wraps? Maybe I'll have to go and have a look. Have a look.
Have a geese, bro.
Have a geese. Yeah. Do I get a special machine discount?
I don't have a discount code.
No.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Come on, bro. Where's the promo code?
Yeah.
No, that's fair. I'll give one more, but I just thought of has Merab hit you up about stealing his name?
Bro, I didn't actually know Merab's name was the machine until this year. Someone was like, bro, you got the same name as Merab. And I was like, Merab? And they're like, yeah, his name's the machine. I was like, oh, shit. That's kind of weird. And then later that day, I saw like this TikTok reel of like Merab, and it's like sparring someone with 3 lungs. And I sent it to one of my mates, and they're like, bro, that's sparring you. That's basically sparring you. And I was like, oh man, shit. But no, he hasn't hit me up. But what a guy to have the same nickname as.
Yeah, it's badass.
He's pretty cool.
Yeah, badass, man. I mean, that last fight, just an absolute cardio machine.
Yeah.
Insane. But hey, before we go, bro, also want to say thanks so much for taking the time to chat to me, bro. Really appreciate it. And where can people find you? What you got going on right now? And let the people know.
Instagram at Michael Machine Isaac, all lowercase, all together. Facebook, Michael Machine Isaac. I've got a YouTube channel, I'm starting to like upload my fights. Bro, because I was chilling with my mates, and we were sitting there, and we were like, oh, we should watch some of your fights. And I was like, oh, yeah. And we typed in Michael Isaac, and like nothing came up. I was like, bro, what? So I started like uploading my fights. So I've got my last world title fight on my YouTube channel. I'm going to start drip feeding like more. I'm going to put up the King of the Ring ones because I've got a lot of people like wanting to watch them, rewatch them and stuff like that. So
hell yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to chuck those up. But same thing, Michael Machine Isaac on YouTube, and that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah, man. Awesome having you here, bro. I've had such a good yarn learning about you and what you're doing, and I wish you all the best for the future.
Safe.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.